Okay. So, sorry, I might have to turn off my main light here in a moment because it's so bad. Um, but I guess I just wanted to talk about no. Okay, sorry. I wanted to talk about just um what it like why is it so hard to move on? How did I move on and all that shit? Like from a relationship. So, um I guess basically I'm cold. So, when the breakup first happened, it was really hard. It really, you know that scene from Twilight where Bella was just stuck like in that chair and shit? Like that whole sequence? That's kind of how it felt, you know? Because for me, well, then boyfriend, now ex-boyfriend, he was like my everything. You know, he was my whole world. My whole universe was centered around him. You know, I loved him so much, more than I probably should have. But it, I mean, so the breakup caused me to just, I mean, oh my god, it messed me up really bad. And my hair looks like shit. I'm so sorry. Um, I find that when I'm doing things and going out and like, it gets oily a lot easier. Hi. Um, so it's kind of a mess. I know. Don't need to tell me, you can see all like how gross it is. Hi, baby. But sorry. I don't know what she's doing, but she's doing something. Um, basically, I found myself constantly just in a state of depression and, I mean, it's a loss, and now she's going down my shirt. Um, oh my god. Bro, you see this? Oh my god, bro. Jesus Christ, what are you doing? Get out. Oh, sorry, her nails, bro. Jesus fuck, bro. Okay, sorry. Um, but you know what I mean. And every time I saw, because we still had the same class together, because it wasn't the end of school yet. So every time I saw him in that class, I don't even know. It kind of replayed that same pain that I felt the day that we broke up. You know, every single time. So every day. And yet I still didn't care because at least I got to see him, right? And I don't know, it was just not healthy, you know? And I spent months trying to improve myself. And I noticed, looking back on it, I only improved myself for him and not for me. Even though I thought I was improving myself for me, I wasn't truly, you know, fixing myself. I was only fixing what, you know, I don't know. I was so focused on getting him back that I actually didn't focus on myself. So when I thought I was getting better, I wasn't actually getting better, you know? So that's why I think ruined that second chance that I got. Oh my god, bro. It ruined that second chance that I got again because again, I didn't actually get better. So now that I actually am better, I think it's safe to say that I've started to notice, my fan is on and that's probably why it's so cold. That's one thing I noticed. But I also noticed that he's not so good for me. She's like, I don't know what the fuck she's doing. I need to write this down. I can't even remember what I was saying. Okay, so, right, was I talking? So what I realized, I think, what I was talking about, sorry, when I was talking, sorry, something really funny happened. But what I was talking about was what I realized once I actually started getting better and focused on myself instead of him. Don't bite my phone, please. Was that he wasn't good for me. And it hurts a lot to finally kind of realize that because I mean, I still loved him when I realized that. And I don't really think I love him now. I think I love the version of him that I met, which was like over a year ago by now. You know, please don't. So it really sucks because it's like that's not who he is anymore. I can't change him and I can't make him change. I can't just, reverse time or something. And the version of him now is just not someone that I find attractive and not someone that I can love because he's not that good of a person. I mean, he still has love and he still cares, it's obvious, but he's just, generally, like, just not good. Not good for me. So, I think I've finally been able to start letting him go and, like, moving into the segment as Um, why I couldn't let him go was because I was so attached to the version of who he used to be, I mean, there was a lot of things, like, he was my first for so many things, like, and even, like, my first, like, actual relationship, my first love, everything, even, like, crazy things. So, why are you biting on that? I'm gonna get rid of it anyway. Um, So I was just attached to that, There's an attachment that forms there when you have so many things that were your first. So it sucks that that had to happen, but it's probably for the better because my life is a lot less full. Oh, that's my car keys. My life is a lot less full of shit because not because of really him necessarily, it was just more of like the way that he made me feel. I don't think that's his fault. It's just who he is now, and I didn't, I didn't want to accept that, I guess. So now she's in my purse. But yeah, so that's kind of why I couldn't move on, I think. And also, I mean, I still loved him. Excuse me. But what are you chewing on? That's my chapstick. But and so I think I managed to really move on once I started actually realizing those things and I actually started focusing on myself. Actually, I do need my chapstick. Thank you. But once I started focusing on myself and, once I realized, like, hey, this man is making me feel like shit, um, I was able to, kind of accept it a little more, I guess. Right? Um, and I guess I kind of also was just like, once you find someone who also makes you feel that way that they made you feel, it can definitely be a lot easier. But also just, I think most of it was just me finding actually, like, finding things to do with my life and, you know, things that didn't involve him. And that made me think about him a lot less, you know? And I guess in my case, it was actually kind of a guy, but hi, baby. Don't do that. Sorry. No! Not the computer. Thank you. But in my case, it was a guy, but in my defense, it was kind of my friend at the time. Is that so he, he pulled me out every day, like picked me up and we did things like he worked on his car, I helped, just all sorts of things that helped me not really have my mind on him, on my ex. And I think that genuinely helped a lot because once you're not thinking about them so much, you're not, losing your mind, you know? And she's going down my shirt again. Bro. Can you believe this? What the heck? Anyway, but I think it's really important to be able to recognize all the shit that they put you through. Because once you realize that, bro, I think I found someone that's so much better, who makes me feel like, don't do that, who makes me feel like, I'm actually important and I'm wanted and I'm cared about. And it's really great to finally, feel prioritized, because I struggled a lot with my ex to actually feel like, he loved me. Like at some points it felt like, you know, he didn't love me. And I definitely didn't really feel that prioritized. And I mean, I know he was trying, it's just, it gets kind of to a point, and I'm mostly speaking for the second time around because the first time around, I'll admit, I was, really shitty, but the second time around, it was definitely a lot worse to the point where I don't know. But he wasn't good for me. And I've finally found someone that, is definitely a lot better for me, who makes me happy, and who I feel like we actually, get along, you know. And I think something that's really important is actually getting to know someone and actually, spending a lot of time together and taking at least a few months, because me and my ex, we only spent like a month or two, but I've known my now friend. I will clarify this. We are not officially together. It's just, he's one of the main reasons why I was able to actually move on. But me and him have known each other for like since probably July, you know? So it's been July, August, September, November, October. So nearly like 5 months. So I, um, so it's just like I think it's really important to actually have a friendship and like, because if they can be your best friend, then it will definitely be a lot easier to be in a relationship, because it's like, me personally, I feel like the best relationships are when you have a best friend and a partner all in one, you know? So I find it, I find I've I think it's a lot. I think if me and my friend, unnamed, were to ever, you know, be like, hey, maybe we should try this out. Maybe we should be in a relationship. I feel like it would probably be a lot easier than my past relationships, if you want to count that one weirdo. Bro, I say my ex that I've been talking about all this time was my first official relationship. I've had plenty of, weird little things in the past, but honestly, I personally don't want to count them as actual relationships because, man, I don't know what those were, to be honest, but whatever. But I've had experience. I'll just say that. So, I'd say this would probably be the best one if me and him were to ever get together, because, I mean, this is probably, you know, the best friendship I've ever had. So, you know, it's just, it kind of plays into that whole thing, like, your best friend and partner all in one. It's like, I don't know. Anyway, but I think moving on is really important sometimes, because you have to really, really realize, you have to, I mean, not only take account, because that's my armpit, you not only have to take accountability for, your actions. I'll admit, I was not great. I was a fucking psycho. But you also have to realize some of their actions, because they weren't saints either. And that's okay. It is okay. I used to literally hold him up to a pedestal. Anytime anyone would ever say anything bad about him, I would fight to the death, bro. I would fight them. Dead ass. Fight them. Not physically, but like, I would defend that man with my life. And now I'm just sitting here like, well, damn. I just embarrassed the fuck out of myself. And for what? For what? For what? Like, bro. Now I'm just embarrassed, because, like, I spent months and months fighting over text, in person, just, constantly defending him, no matter what anybody said, only to be proved wrong by myself. Because I finally realized, it finally clocked in my dumbass head, hi baby, that everyone was right. Ugh. Now, there were some things that people said that were just not. Like, I personally don't really think he used me or anything. Now, there were times where I felt like it, but, looking back on it, actually taking a step back and looking at the bigger picture, I don't think he used me or anything. I will defend him on that. But there were other things that he definitely did that, she's shaking my computer, I'm so sorry. There were some other things that he definitely did. I just didn't want to admit, and I didn't want to realize, you know? And I don't think I want to name those things just because, but, you know. It is so important to realize that, because once you do, it'll be a lot easier to move on. Anyway, she's kind of getting a little cuckoo. She's going a little crazy. So I think I'm gonna have to end this here, but I hope this was a good little rant. So yeah. I love you guys. Mia, you wanna say bye? Where did Mia go? What the hell? Bro, what? Bro, she dead ass just disappeared, bro. Oh, there she is. Mimi. She's not gonna be happy. Say bye. She doesn't want to. You wanna say bye? No, she doesn't want to. She might actually end this video. Oh my god. Anyway, I love you guys. Mimi, you wanna end the video?